Take a slow breath in. Let your jaw unclench. Let the noise of the outside world fade. Because right now, nothing else matters but this moment and what you're about to hear. This isn't just another video about how to manifest wealth. This is a reset. And if you're even slightly open, it could shift how you experience money. Not eventually, but in just 2 days. Yes, 2. No goal-setting sprints. No endless visualizing sessions. No obsessive journaling. Just one shift. One internal decision. And it starts right now. You're not watching this by coincidence. This didn't just pop up because of some random scroll. Something inside you called this in. A part of you, the real you, is ready. Ready to stop fighting. Ready to stop proving. Ready to finally receive what was always yours. What if I told you unexpected money doesn't come through chance, and it doesn't come through trying either? What if it arrives the moment you stop chasing it? That the only thing holding it back is how you're feeling about it. And that's where this begins. Neville Goddard taught something the world still struggles to believe. Not because it's complex, but because it's so simple. Feeling creates reality, not hustle, not repetition, not trying your best. It's the emotional atmosphere you live in that becomes the script your life plays out. Not because it's wishful thinking, because it's law. And when it comes to wealth, most people are living in a feeling of lack, while speaking abundance. They visualize the dream. They talk about being open to receive. But inside, they're still calculating, still stressing, still wondering if it's working. And that's the paradox. You can't wait until you feel financially free. You have to feel financially free first. Then the numbers match your energy. Let's say that again, so it sinks in. You don't attract money by needing it. You attract money by becoming the version of you who doesn't. The version of you who receives easily, effortlessly, naturally. That's what this is about. And that's why it only takes 2 days. Not 30, not 90. 2. Because 2 days is enough. Enough to stop leaking your power. Enough to stop asking for proof. Enough to embody a new version of yourself so clearly. The world has no choice but to reflect it back. And yes, unexpected money can show up in ways you'd never guess. A bonus, a refund, a gift, a job offer, a payment you forgot about. But that's not your responsibility. Your only job is to feel it first. So here's what we're going to do together. I'm going to guide you through a very simple 2-day process, directly inspired by Neville's teachings. Not based on hope, but on law. Because the moment you send a new internal signal, life begins to realign itself. And the signal you're about to send starts with this. Say it now. I am open to receive now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. You can type it in the comments if you like. Not for views, not for likes. For you. Sometimes declaring it out loud, on paper, on screen, makes it feel real. Like you've carved a new groove in your timeline. The version of you who receives easily, effortlessly, naturally. Let's begin. Day 1. The energy of already receiving. You don't need a ritual. You don't need a perfect script. Just one thing. Tonight, before you fall asleep, feel what it's like to already have the money. That's it. Tonight isn't about forcing. It's not about controlling. It's not about doing it right. It's about feeling. As you're drifting off, let yourself enter the experience of having. Because that state, right before sleep, is the doorway into your subconscious. Neville called it the most fertile ground for creation. In that twilight state, when your body relaxes and your mind opens, what you feel sinks deep. So don't go to sleep worried. Don't let your last thought be about what you lack. Let your last thought be wealth. Picture this. You're in bed. The lights are off. Your body is heavy. There's a hush over the room. You breathe in, and then you imagine, not just money, but freedom. You see a notification on your phone, deposit received. You hear a message from a friend, just sent you something I owed you. You get a call from someone you didn't expect, offering you something you'd quietly been hoping for. But more than seeing the scene, step into it. What would it feel like to live it? Would your chest feel lighter? Would your breath deepen? Would your shoulders relax? Feel it. Let it settle into your body. Let it become familiar. And if your mind tries to wander, don't judge it. Don't push it. Just come back. Come back to the moment. Back to the version of you where it's already done. Neville said, "Your assumption, though false in the beginning, if persisted in, will harden into fact." That's what this is. You're not asking. You're not hoping. You're becoming. So tonight, don't fall asleep wishing. Fall asleep remembering. You already have it. Because once the subconscious accepts it, the external world adjusts. And if something in this spoke to you, if it didn't just sound true, but felt true, then make sure you're subscribed. Not for me, for you. So when the world gets noisy again, when you forget for a moment who you really are, you've got a space to return to. A place that reminds you of what's real, what's already yours, and what you came her day to. Stepping into identity. You felt it last night. You closed your eyes. You let yourself imagine how it would feel if the money was already here. And something inside you softened. Now the real shift begins. Because this morning, your mind will want to go back. It'll want to check your phone, your account, your inbox, your reality. It'll want to ask, did anything happen yet? But you won't. Because that's not who you are anymore. You're not the version of you who waits. You're not the version of you who begs the world to show proof. You're stepping into the version of you who knows. And that knowing, that quiet, powerful knowing, is what changes everything. Today is not about being perfect. It's not about staying in a high vibration every second. It's about staying loyal. Loyal to the identity you claimed last night. You don't need to repeat affirmations all day. You don't need to act happy every minute. You just need to return. Back to the version of you that already has. That's the real work. So ask yourself today, gently, honestly, how would I move if I was already wealthy? How would I speak? How would I walk? How would I treat money? Would I obsess? Would I stress? Would I grip tightly to control? Or would I breathe deeper? Trust more? Expect good things? Let that be your guide. Because this version of you, the one who already receives, they don't need to check the clock. They're not measuring how long it's taking. They're not waiting for a sign to believe. They carry the belief in their posture, in their pace, in their tone. They speak with calm certainty. They make decisions from abundance, not fear. They don't rush. They don't chase. That's who you're becoming today. And you don't become them by faking it. You become them by practicing it. Small, intentional choices that say, I'm already supported. You buy your coffee, no guilt. You answer emails, expecting good news. You check your schedule, feeling spacious. Every little choice becomes a message. I've already received. This is what Neville meant when he said, to live in the end. You don't live in the waiting. You don't live in the asking. You live in the having. And if doubt shows up today, because it might, you don't panic. You don't spiral. You just notice it. Breathe. Return. You're not starting over. You're strengthening the signal. You're anchoring the new normal. It's not about doing more. It's about being steady. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency, not perfection. Presence. And here's the thing most people miss. It's not the dramatic moments that create your shift. It's the quiet ones. When you choose calm over fear, gratitude over control, relaxation over rush, that's what stabilizes the new identity. So today, carry yourself like someone who's already been paid, not because you're pretending, but because you're remembering. And if this is clicking for you, if you feel that resonance in your chest, feel free to hit subscribe, not out of obligation, not because I asked, but because you want to stay close to content that speaks this language, the language of knowing, of returning, of choosing from power. Now let's talk about what happens next, because for many of you, today will feel different. Something will shift. You'll feel a new ease. You'll walk into a moment, unexpected, and feel like, yes, this is it. A message might show up, a payment might land, a refund might come through, or an opportunity arrives. And for others, you'll feel the shift internally. You'll sleep differently. You'll breathe easier. But nothing outside has moved yet. And that's okay. That's where most people go wrong. They say, I did the feeling. I stayed in the identity. Why hasn't it shown up? And what they don't see is, the shift already happened. It just hasn't landed in form yet. Because once you assume the new reality, your old one starts to dissolve, not always instantly, but always eventually. Sometimes, after day 2, things feel quiet, almost too quiet. You'll feel that little whisper, see? Still nothing. Still no sign. But that voice, that's not truth. That's memory. That's the old version of you, trying to get one last word in. That version needed evidence before it could feel safe. That version needed to see it first to believe it, but not anymore. You're leading from the inside now, and when day 3 arrives and you still don't see the money, you don't retreat, you don't restart, you don't collapse, you remain. Because your vibration has shifted, your nervous system is learning to trust, and your field is preparing to receive. This isn't the delay, this is the alignment. So if tomorrow comes and the world hasn't proven anything yet, you don't let it shake you. You stay. You breathe. You walk like it's already yours, because it is. And here's what's really happening. You're no longer living as someone who needs results to feel secure. You're becoming someone who creates results from security. That's a massive shift. Because now your worth doesn't move with your bank balance. Now your peace isn't tied to your circumstances. Now your power lives inside you, and everything outside has to adjust. That's when the world responds. That's when the moment arrives. Not because you chased it, because you became it. So let's say day 3 arrives, and still, there's nothing. No message, no deposit, no surprise check in the mailbox. Nothing that proves it worked. This, right here, is where most people give up. They whisper, I did everything. Why hasn't it shown up? But that question, that's the final test. Not a punishment, not a failure, a reflection. Because this is where you decide, was it just a technique, or did you actually shift? This is the moment you either go back to the old self, or you anchor into the new one. Neville Goddard said, do not judge by appearances. Persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. And day 3 is where you live that. You open your eyes. The world looks unchanged. But something inside you feels different. That's the beginning. Your external may be silent, but your internal is grounded. And so instead of reacting, you breathe. And you repeat, gently, I am open to receive now. Because you are, not in theory, in being. You don't ask for a sign, you become the sign. You don't beg for a shift, you embody it. This is where everything starts to align, because you're no longer chasing, you're receiving. You're not waiting on the world, You're letting the world match the new you. You walk slower. You carry yourself with calm certainty. You pause before you speak, and you move from knowing. And that whisper of fear that shows up, maybe it didn't work. You notice it. You breathe. And you answer without panic. I am open to receive now. Again, and again, and again. Not to convince yourself, but to stay in the identity of the one who receives. Because when you hold this vibration, this emotional center, for just a little longer than you're used to, things begin to bend. Not because you forced them, but because your signal became stable. That's when the magic happens. Not with fireworks, not with noise, but with quiet certainty. This is what it looks like to walk as the version of you who's already received. You pay a bill and you smile. You drink your coffee with ease. You sit in silence, feeling supported, and you affirm it, not because you're desperate, but because you're aligned. I am open to receive now. You bless every moment that challenges you. You bless every doubt that arises because it gives you another chance to return to power, to return to presence, to return to your truth. And your truth is this: you no longer react to the world, you lead it. You don't watch your account to feel worthy. You feel worthy, and the numbers adjust. You don't need a sign. You are the sign. This is identity. This is embodiment. This is the shift. So what do you do on day 3? You carry it. You walk with it. You become it. Wealth doesn't respond to urgency. It responds to openness. So today, be open. Open to miracles. Open to unexpected ease. Open to being taken care of without having to control everything. That is wealth. That is power. That is your natural state. If today feels quiet, don't let your old self interpret it as failure. Let it be confirmation. The stillness means you're no longer vibrating at chaos. You're holding peace. And from peace, everything comes. You're not who you used to be. You're becoming someone new, someone calm, someone certain, someone magnetic. And the truth is, for many of you, 2 days really is enough. You'll feel it in your body before you see it in your life. You'll feel relaxed for no reason. You'll get a phone call out of nowhere. A payment lands. A refund you forgot about appears. And for others, nothing visible happens. Not yet. But something inside you already moved. And that's the signal. That's the start. That's the seed. And when you stop checking the soil every hour, the roots grow. So let the roots grow. Let the identity settle. Let the feeling stabilize. That's when the outside begins to match the inside. So if you're walking through day 3 and the old voice returns, the one that says, "See, nothing's changed," you smile, you breathe, you pause, and you say, "I am open to receive now." And you mean it, because you're not pretending anymore. You're choosing, you're allowing, you're becoming. And if you're still here, still reading, still breathing into this message, then you're ready. Ready to stop reacting, ready to start receiving. And if you ever forget this, because we all do, make sure you're subscribed, not because you need another video, but because you need a reminder, a place to come back to, a voice that echoes what you already know deep down. It's already happening. And you're already open. Now we move into the final phase, the quietest part, the most powerful part. Because after day 3, something subtle begins to shift in you. Not in your to-do list, not in your account, in you. It's not a lightning bolt. It's not a parade. It's a soft, stable knowing, like a thread pulling you forward, not with force, but with peace. You're not trying to manifest anymore. You're simply living as the one who already has. That's what Neville meant when he said, Claim yourself to be that which you desire to be, and that you shall be. Not wish for it. Not try really hard. Claim it. And that's what you've done. From this moment forward, you stop checking. You stop refreshing. You stop needing to be convinced. You already know. This isn't about pretending. This is about embodying. Because now, it's not a desire anymore. It's your identity. From this point on, you live in the after, the version of you who's already received. You walk into rooms differently. You speak from trust. You move from certainty. You don't speak about money like it's something out there. You don't say, I'm trying to attract. You say, I am open to receive now. And you say it not because you're lacking, but because it's the truth. You're no longer triggered by appearances. You're no longer shaken by delays. You no longer ask, is it working? Because the moment you stop asking that question, it is. And the moment you stop needing confirmation, you become the confirmation. This is the final layer of the shift. You don't just believe it's already yours. You stop needing it to arrive to feel whole. And that's when it arrives. Because now you're not aligned with lack. You're aligned with sufficiency. You've become the vibration that wealth flows to. Not because you forced it, but because you finally allowed it. Thank you for being here, for feeling this, and for choosing to remember your power. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.